Welcome to That Entrepreneur Life, a podcast about entrepreneurship that takes you from idea to launch and beyond. Each week, your hosts, Andrew Lees and Clint McPherson, discuss different business topics aimed at adding value to any entrepreneur's journey.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of That Entrepreneur Life. I'm Andrew Lees, and I'm joined, as always, with my co-host, Clint McPherson. What's up, man?
Not much, brother. I'm just glad to be back to record another episode with you. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off by welcoming our special guest, Jodi Krangle, to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Yeah, Jodi, thank you so much for being on the show. Before we get into everything, can you just tell us who you are and kind of what you're all about?
Oh, my goodness. Okay, I have been an entrepreneur probably since around 2000. I was self-employed by around 1999. So I've been doing this a while. I'm a voice actor, and I've been doing that full-time since 2007. But I also had a songwriting website back in 1995 that ended in 2016. And I'm a singer, and I have my own album that came out in 2015. So
that's awesome. I did read on your website that you didn't have the bedtime stories like most kids would. You would have the sing-alongs, right? Yeah. So I think that's a pretty cool thing.
My parents were very musical.
Yeah. And so I guess that's where your love for music came from, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And voice and everything that goes into that, because I was always raised with the idea that sound is important.
Yeah, sure. Especially for storytelling and storytelling, which I'm sure we'll get into, in the episode, is so important for branding. So if you can do that with voice and with song, I mean, things that really stick, it's really important. Yeah.
So Jodi, with all that said, as you know, with your quick introduction and as a remote and experienced female voiceover talent, right, that specializes in the warm, rich, real words for commercials and narrations, which you've been part of some big brands and pretty cool. We sat there and listened to all your videos. And so those were nice. Can you take us back, though, and our listeners back to where your entrepreneurial journey started? And what is it about entrepreneurship specifically that keeps that fire burning inside you to continue to do what you're doing?
I really enjoy doing my own thing, and I pretty much always have. So the idea of having a 9-to-5 job where someone else told me what to do just never appealed to me. So there's number one. Number two is that I have always come from a point of abundance. So if I don't get something, then it's not like the end of the world is happening. It's just that I've left myself open for something better. And I think that attitude, coupled with just being okay with some risk, I think really is helpful for an entrepreneur, because you're putting yourself out there and you're seeing what happens. And you have to be open to whatever happens, whether that's a success or a failure. And you learn from your failures.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and those failures can shape how you move on and the things that you do in the future. I mean, I think that's a great attitude to just say, all right, if something failed, it didn't work out. It's not the end of the world. It just may open a door, an even better door somewhere else, something that's more of a good fit. I think a lot of people, I think we all kind of, sometimes we sort of hold our breath and, cross our fingers and hope that something works out because that's what we really, really, really want at that time. And then when it doesn't work out, we're kind of crushed. But you have to realize that it just might not have been a good fit. It might not have even been as great of an opportunity as you thought, to go to a certain college or, get a certain job or, whatever it is we think is so important at the time, then it just doesn't necessarily turn out that way. So yeah, Jodi, in 1995, you started a song. Well, you mentioned this before, but you started a songwriting business called Muse's Muse. how much of that business, how much did your experiences with that business help to streamline the launch and growth of your current voice acting business? You know, what did you learn then that you really were able to apply with your current business?
Well, a lot of what I learned running the Muse's Muse, which was pretty much a songwriting resource on the web. It didn't actually start as a business. It kind of started as like my labor of love, my baby, you know, because I was interested in the subject matter. And this is before message boards. So I was putting up questions on the internet, giving people an email address to write and saying, tell me what you think. And people were writing back to me, and then I would put their answers up on the web. And this is right when it all started. So it was before message boards. It was before pretty much a lot of everything. And I will say that my entrepreneurial journey has really been helped by my willingness to learn about the internet from very early on. So it helped a lot. And what I was doing in those beginning days was on a budget of nothing. I was promoting a website through internet marketing and SEO. And so I learned a ton of things doing that. And from around that time until 2007, I was actually selling my services as an internet marketing SEO person for people remotely. And this is before remotely was really all that popular. So I did that for a large number of years, and I learned a lot. And it certainly did help me when I was promoting my voiceover website, because I knew the basics of what I needed to have on that website for it to be found. And I'm reaping the benefits of that now, many years later.
Right. It takes a while, right? But if you know the foundation that you need to lay, it's not just overnight success. I mean, Clint knows that well too, as an internet marketer. So were you kind of self-taught with digital marketing, or? Yeah.
Totally self-taught.
That was before YouTube.
I don't know that there was any other way.
Nobody was.
There wasn't another way back then.
Yeah. There was probably.
But you learn a lot when you have to promote on nothing.
For sure.
I mean,
right.
Trial and error.
You don't have any money to do this.
Yeah. And I'm sure that was an exciting time to be in digital marketing at all too, because it's just.
It was.
Yeah. There's not. Now it's easier than ever in a way now, but in another way, I think it's probably harder than ever because there's so much noise out there. The barrier to entry to get online is easy. I mean, it's nothing.
Yeah.
You just wake up, take a picture.
Well, also
and post
Google.
It, that's it. Yeah.
And Google is the only game in town now, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
it. You know, when I was doing this, there was Alta Vista, there was Ask Jeeves, Yahoo was actually still a going concern. There were all sorts of different, it was more fun back then, I have to say.
It was like Google didn't really have a monopoly on everything then, right? Like it seems to have now.
No.
I mean, it's just it was crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting for sure, because you always had the option to you had so many different things that you could look to, you can look through, you can utilize. And now it's just like, if you're not utilizing Google, it's like, because they own basically everything when it comes to the search engines, right? So it's a tough thing. So Jodi, how can a company, even a small one, right, benefit from audio branding? Because that's the niche you're currently in right now. And are you able to see a tangible difference in results compared to other branding and marketing techniques out there?
I think that when you use audio in a responsible way, because you can use it in an irresponsible way.
Oh yeah.
I think that it can make a deeper. Yeah. Well, okay. Let me just say that I have interviewed several people in my own podcast in audio branding, and one of them was a fellow who has a production studio in Vegas who makes the win sounds for slot machines. And the casino industry has very clearly regulated what kinds of sounds you can and can't use in these slot machines. For instance, the shave and a haircut, right? Da 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 da. You can't not use the da da part at the end and make people continue to play to hear it, because we are conditioned to do that, and we will do it until we're broke. Like, yeah, you could so use that for evil. And yeah, so the casino industry has regulated this, and the ad agencies, the ad industry has not. So there are things I think that you could, yeah, you could be kind of underhanded about it if you're not careful. And it's it's not regulated, not really, not that I've heard of, put it that way. So using audio branding in a responsible way can really make an authentic connection with the people that you're trying to reach. Depending on what medium you're on, that's going to dictate what you use. But it's a more it's a deeper connection, and it's an emotional shorthand. So if you equate a sound with the branding information, the branding text that you want people to remember about your brand, then eventually, if you're consistent with that sound, they're going to remember that sound and immediately get to your text. It'll just be in their brain, right? So it's definitely an emotional shorthand. It can certainly be used to make your company, your brand more memorable. And in these days, when all of us are on the internet and we're constantly being inundated with stuff that's being put in front of our face all the time, hearing a little bit of sound is just something different. It cuts through.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when it's well done and it's purposeful and it's, and it's targeted. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think me and Andrew were talking offline about listening to your videos and listening to your voice, and it was like I could have sworn I've heard this before. Like, I don't know where, when, where was it? I was like, I feel like we've met her before we're actually meeting her, and it's pretty cool because, again, when you're utilizing that and you're doing this stuff for these commercials or you're doing these narrations, I mean, your voice, it just sticks, right? Because it's the way you do it, the way you narrate it, it's just like it's very memorable, and that's what you want in those times and for those commercials, and that's what they're trying to do, resonate with the audience. And I really think that the ones that we've heard, especially on your website, really nail that and drive that point home for sure.
Well, thank you. Yeah, part of what we're trying to do is sort of be the voice under, if that makes any more sense. So I'm not necessarily I'm not the star. It's not about me. It's about what I'm promoting, what I'm talking about on behalf of the client. Yeah. So yes, I want to make them memorable, but the reason that they chose my voice to demonstrate what their brand can bring is because they felt that somehow it fit what their brand should sound like. So something to consider when you're advertising is definitely think about the type of voice that would reflect who you are and who other people might want to be like. So it's kind of coupling both. And the idea behind audio branding is that you're thinking about what your brand looks like, who you are, and reflecting that in the voices you choose, the music you choose, the sound effects you use, all of that, any of the brand voice. And when I say that, I mean in general, that is part of who you are. Because branding is, I've heard people say this many times, branding is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So what do those people say? How do they experience you? How do you want them to experience you? The audio should definitely be a very conscious and intentional part of that.
Yeah. And how do people react to ads after they've seen them or after they've listened to them? I mean, there's so many ads that I've seen where I'm just like, I'll just say after it, I'll say, how did that get through even just one person, but let alone like a whole team of people? How did a whole team of people agree that was a good idea, you know? But at the same time, I'm talking about it, so maybe they win. I don't know. So how do you,
I don't know.
How do you use audio branding to, like, if you don't have a big budget, if you've got a very small budget, how can you use audio branding? If you're just a startup, you know, you're on a tight budget and you're trying to figure out how to use audio branding, because it does seem like something that's sort of reserved for big companies with big budgets, who you create this media, or you create this content, but then you need a big budget to get it out there. So how can you, is there a way to do it on a budget?
I think it depends on what you're trying to accomplish, but in a lot of ways, this does not need to be very pricey at all, because all it really is a reflection of who you are. So if you're making a video, or if you're doing like a video podcast like we're doing right now, do you guys start off with the same wordage every time? Do you end with the same wordage every time? Do you use the same intro music, outro music? You know, these are really simple things. They don't need to be expensive. But if you have like a certain catchphrase that you use all the time, if there's a certain sound effect, like I know Gary Vee has this like swoop sound on all of his, or some kind of like sound on all of his videos now. And he's been doing this for years. So yeah, so that kind of thing, that does not have to be expensive. I mean, you know, there are things like crafting a sound for a Pantone color, for instance. I know that I was talking with Eric C., who runs, it's called Audio UX. They're in New York City. And he and his team were the people who created the sound for Classic Blue. And there actually was a soundscape for this, but not everyone needs to do that. It's just a thought process that goes behind what's the emotion that you want people to feel when they see and hear your brand. And you want to bring out more of that emotion. So yes, you're solving a problem, definitely. And what's the emotion that people feel when that problem is solved?
Yeah, exactly. And whether, I guess it doesn't matter whether 100 people hear it or 100,000 people hear it, right? It's just connecting and figuring out, you know, if you can connect with those 100 people, and, you know, with that type of branding and with that type of marketing, then you can scale it. Then you can say, all right, this is something. Yeah. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Very cool.
And it is a connection. It's a connection between you and your audience, and it's a connection between your visual and your audio. And if your visual and your audio don't match, people just aren't going to trust you, because they don't feel you get who you are.
Right.
And it's unconscious.
Oh, for sure.
We don't recognize these things in our conscious mind. We just no, we don't like that.
Yeah.
Right?
No, that makes
we humans are
sense.
Strange.
No,
we humans are very strange.
Exactly. I mean, but like you said, you bring up the connection point. That's perfect, because anything that we're trying to do in business, we're trying to connect, right? We're trying to connect with a client. We're trying to connect with our audience, our target demographic, whatever it is. As long as you know what you're aiming for, what the target is, then you can make the decisions based off all of that, like you mentioned. I mean, you really got to know what you're trying to achieve, right? Because if you don't know that, then how do you know that you need audio branding? How do you know that you need Facebook marketing? How do you know that you need a website, right? Because you got to get all that stuff lined up and know what you're trying to achieve at the end of the day, to make sure that the connection is there, the connection is real, and you stay authentic at the same time.
Well, it's basic marketing too, because really, if you don't know who your avatar is, then you don't know where they are. You don't know what kind of visual or audio it's going to appeal to them. You don't know what emotion you need them to feel. It's a whole part and parcel of knowing who it is you're trying to reach.
Exactly. Yeah. It all starts with a good strategy, market research and business modeling and, just a good strategy. I think, that's so important for new businesses, but, and audio branding can be a part of that. That could be, part of that strategy. And it's something that I think maybe gets overlooked, especially with smaller companies, So
Yes.
I think
And it doesn't have to cost a lot at all.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
Yeah. And that's important for,
I mean, not all of us are MasterCard.
Exactly. So they're just like, yeah, whatever, spend whatever. Yeah. Yeah. And you can just do it. You can just do it on a budget, not have to have a huge team. I mean, I am interested. I wonder what those meetings are like with, and you probably have had some experience with it, with larger companies. Like, what are those meetings like with, these marketing teams? I just imagine this, this huge, room with a big, giant desk with 20 people sitting around, really trying to work out this.
They all have their own opinion.
Not these days.
Yeah. No, right.
Not these days.
Exactly. So
they're all on Zoom.
Yeah, exactly.
20 on Zoom.
Yeah. Gotta get bigger computer monitors.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've mentioned outsourcing is important to mental health, which I think is really interesting. And I completely agree with, especially 100%. Oh yeah. And Clint and I were just talking about this offline about outsourcing for our own businesses. It can be challenging though, especially for service businesses. It can be challenging to outsource and to scale up, but what parts of your business do you outsource, and how has that process been? How are you able to ensure that you can trust the quality of work that somebody outside of your company is doing?
It's tricky. It can be tricky. But as long as you're keeping an eye on things and you're checking over the work when it's done, then you can sort of settle into a sort of rhythm, I guess, with the people that you're hiring to do some of the things that you just don't want to do. The way that this keeps my mental health, stable is that I get to do more of what I like to do and less of what I don't like to do. So it happens over time too, because not everyone when they're first starting out is going to be able to afford to hire someone else to do stuff for them.
And,
right. And that's fine,
Yeah. And they probably shouldn't sometimes, right? Is you should do all these different parts of your business, wear all the hats and learn everything about it. So that when it is time to outsource, how to educate people, around you to do those jobs.
Definitely. Yeah. And especially as you mentioned in a service business, I will say that in voiceover, I wear a lot of hats. So not only am I my own invoicing person, my own marketing person, my own audio engineer, my own researcher to reach out to other companies that might need a voice actor for whatever they're doing. There's all sorts of things that go into this. I'm my own bookkeeper, of course. And there are, and I need to write content for blogs and things like that. And I have my own podcast. And so there's a whole bunch of things that go into the production and promotion of that podcast that maybe I don't want to necessarily have to do all myself, because really what I love is the talking with people part. And the rest I could just pass off to someone else and I'd be perfectly happy.
Right. And that's really the only part that you can't outsource is your voice. Nobody else can do that. So, if you can figure out how to get everything else off your plate or as much as you can, do you have with all that stuff that you do when you are doing it, if you're not outsourcing, all of it on a daily basis, do you have a schedule every day that you do, okay, from 8 to 10, I'm going to do blog writing, I'm going to work on my blog. That from 10 to 12, I'm going to do do you
Oh,
have
my
it all
goodness.
like that? Or is that, or do you
No.
just kind of attack
No.
it? Yeah.
I'm chaos. My day is chaos. And I love it that way, actually. Like I thrive in that. Yeah. But what I do is I keep my work to 5 minutes of finished audio or less, so that anything that I'm working on, a project for a client, can generally be taken care of within an hour or less of when I get the notice that I need to do it. So I can get stuff really quickly to my clients. I am a little obsessive about not having too much stuff in my inbox. And so I don't let things sit, but it's still chaos. It really depends on who contacts me in a day, what's been scheduled from, previous days, who I'm talking with for my podcast, what's going around, what's going around that. There's a whole bunch of different things that'll happen in my day, and I'm okay with them not having to take place at a certain time.
Right.
But they do all get done.
Yeah.
They definitely do all get done.
Exactly. That is wildly important. I mean, I think, again, there's people that can operate in a chaotic environment because that's what they're used to, right? And they're used to getting stuff. I'm sure you have your own strategies and everything that you implement when it's time to do what you do, right? And that's where you've lived, and that's where your mindset is. And there's other individuals that function and they have to have everything planned out, because if they don't do that, they don't get anything.
Oh, totally.
done,
yeah.
right. And so that's, I'm kind of in between.
I recognize that.
Yeah. And I'm kind of in between, where I'm like, okay, I start off with a schedule, and then I can operate that way for a little while. And then I'm like, and then the chaotic part of me, right? I'm like, okay, no, I don't like this structure as much. Now let's just do it whenever. Yeah. Now I'm up to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, not getting good sleep because I'm sitting here knocking something out when I can. Yeah. And like I said, it can't, like you said, it can be chaotic.
It definitely, it can be chaotic. But I have to say, one of the things that I do in order to lessen my own mental stress is that I have built-in downtime. So I don't schedule one after the other things. I actually have little bits in between where I could just watch a Netflix show for a little bit, just let my brain go and just relax, because I thrive with peace. So yes, my schedule is chaotic, but I need peace in order to recharge for the next chaos.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's a push and pull.
Yeah.
And I've learned how to do this in my own schedule over time.
Exactly. Yeah. You can kind of zen your way through things. Even if it is busy, you just sort of get into this mental space where you're working through it, even if it is, you have a lot of things. You get to the end of the day, and then you say, I've been trying to be better about this, where I'm just like, all right, well, I can do it tomorrow. I did as much as I could today. I'm not going to stress about the things I didn't get finished. And I think it is really important to build in that downtime. I think we do work ourselves. Sometimes we work ourselves too hard. And I think it really is. I mean, it's so cliche, but the work smarter, not harder thing is absolutely true. And if you're setting yourself, one of those things is to automate things in your business, is to outsource and also schedule time that you can just decompress. And then that way you come back and you're 100%. So instead of just kind of trying to grind through it, and you get like maximum capacity in the first, half of the day, and then the rest of it's just sucks. So I think that's important to have that balance.
For sure. So Jodi, through your entrepreneurial journey, from the highs and the lows, everything you've experienced, what has been the most difficult thing about being an entrepreneur to date?
The most difficult thing. Building in that peace. It does take a bit of finagling. And I know how important it is for me to be able to do that, because without that, I'm not at optimal capacity. I'm not able to perform as well as I should. And coming to terms with the fact that I need that peace, that I don't need to be productive every second of the day, has been definitely a mind shift. It definitely has been a difficult mind shift, but one that I'm glad I made.
Yeah. Is it something you still struggle with today, or is it something that you realized early on? And how did you realize that? Like, I know, again, like you said, you operate in a chaotic environment, but you do need that peace. When did it come to the time where you're like, I have to build this time in? When was it early on? Did you realize that, or was it just something you evolved into?
It's a little of both, because like I said, I've been self-employed since around 1999. So I know what I need to do in order to get the most amount of work done. But then I'm like you, Clint, in that sometimes I will forget and I'll focus on something and it'll be 2 a.m. when I lift my head up. Like, it's, so I have definitely done that. But, but I find that if I build in the time and I get things out of my inbox that don't need to be in there, it lessens the stress for me. And I have to say, like, I use Gmail, and the snoozing function. Oh my God, that's been a lifesaver for me, because I can take something out of my inbox and then have it pop back up when it needs to be there, and not have it weighing me down otherwise.
Yeah. That's a great feature to have, for sure.
Yeah, that's true. I don't use that enough, but I probably should. I get the nudges about, hey, you
following up.
Yeah, exactly. which is cool. I feel like every day Gmail just gets a little smarter,
Yeah. Seriously, like, people ask me what my favorite digital product is, and I say Gmail every time.
Yeah. Anything Gmail related. Yeah, for sure.
It's amazing. It just does everything I need it to do. And it's virtually my CRM. Like, it's everything.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I've messed around with CRMs before. I might need to try something new, but I mean, so far every time I just go back to Gmail. It's like, well, like, it's all there. I can easily search for people, and, as long as I schedule follow-ups to follow up with people, I mean, that's it. So
snooze the email. Have it pop up when you need it again. Exactly. And there you go. That's your CRM.
Exactly. Well, it was funny. There's another app that I guess does that. But it pauses, might be something like that.
Yeah, I do utilize Boomerang. Yes, there are. I've always utilized that before.
Yeah, I think that might be it. So it pauses your email. I've never gotten an email or, response like that, but I sent an email a couple of weeks ago to a guy, and I got this response back. It was like, my email has been paused until the afternoon or something. I'm like, that is the weirdest thing ever. It sounded so dumb at first. I'm like, why would you pause your inbox? But then I thought, that might actually be genius, because you can actually get things done. When you want to do work, I'm constantly checking my email. If something pops up, I go and I attack it. I jump in and respond, and then I'm like, the productivity just gets killed. So, but yeah, that's cool. Email is so important.
It really is.
So Jodi, as we wrap up this episode, is there one piece of advice that you could leave our listeners that might help them on their entrepreneurial journey? Besides Gmail? I would say
besides Gmail, that's a big one. I would say be less hard on yourself. You don't have to accomplish everything in one day. And it's okay to have a life outside of your entrepreneurial journey. In fact, it makes you a better entrepreneur to actually have a life. And I don't think, especially these days, I don't think anyone is going to blame you from taking some time off. You're allowed. You don't have to be productive every second of the day. That's not human. Be human.
Yeah, and that comes across.
People will connect with you more that way too.
Exactly. I was just going to say, I feel like I'm less able to communicate with people, or less effective, when I don't take some time away. And I have zero perspective. Mm-hmm. I'll write short emails that aren't they're not mean, but they're not very pleasant, they're just like right to the point. And I feel like,
terse. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, because I can't bear to write one more sentence to somebody, so, but when I think when you get a little perspective and it helps you understand, it helps you be more human, and then you're able to connect with people in a better way. And that comes across, comes across in email, I think, but it also really comes across when you're trying to do something like a podcast or, like creating content, whether it's a blog, a video, a piece of audio. So I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's helpful. I know that I definitely need that in my life, and I need to remind myself of that regularly.
Yeah, exactly. I think we all do. Yeah.
It just keeps us human. It keeps us more able to relate to the people that we're contacting and communicating with. But one other thing that I would say is that no matter where you are on your entrepreneurial journey, whatever you did before is going to help you in what comes next.
For sure.
So
I agree.
Never discount. I don't care if you were in McDonald's flipping burgers. What else were you doing there? You were relating with people. You were having to get along with coworkers. There was, you had a schedule. You had to keep to the schedule. There's all sorts of things you can learn from anything. And you can put that to work working for yourself.
Yeah,
exactly. Or even if you have a business that, it takes you 10 years to figure out, it's just not going to work out. You're still going to learn something from that. And that's still super valuable experience that, you can't even, I'd argue you can't learn that getting an MBA, it's just, you're just learning from experience. And whether if it fails, there's plenty of super successful people who failed many, many times before they found something that stuck. So you just got to kind of keep working on it.
Well, guys, I think that's a wrap for this episode. And from the both of us, Jodi, we want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to helping us add value to what we're doing on our podcast.
It was my pleasure. Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Jodi, for being on. And guys, thank you so much for listening to That Entrepreneur Life. To learn more about what Jodi is working on, check out voiceoversandvocals.com. If you like what you heard today, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or any other major podcast directory. You can also find us on all the socials and on our website at thatentrepreneurlife.com.
With that said, guys, we also want to quickly give a special shout out to our family and friends, to include all of our listeners, followers, and subscribers. If you find value in our show, guys, please consider making a donation. Even just a few dollars helps us keep things moving along and brings value to your actual entrepreneurial journey. Thanks for continuing to support what we do as entrepreneurs, and don't forget to join us next week for another episode of That Entrepreneurial Life.
Thanks for listening to That Entrepreneur Life podcast. Be sure to visit thatentrepreneurlife.com to join the conversation, access our show notes, and discover our fantastic bonus content. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode as we continue to add value. Until next time.